Hi, my name is Kirk. I am building a Super Cub XP MOAC edition with Legend Cub in Sulphur Springs, Texas. Started down this path with the assistance of a handful of friends that were flying backcountry airplanes, and realized real quick that something like this was a whole lot more fun than zooming around in a 182, and here I am. So one of the friends had actually built or had an airplane built here with Darren and the guys at Legend, and after meeting Darren and seeing the facility and the way his team is, it just made a whole lot of sense to me that this was going to be the place to work with. So the build's been underway for a few months, participating in the Builder Assist program, building again a Super Cub XP. It's the MOAC edition, which is I guess a Cub on steroids, I guess, if you will. Handful of options that were made available to be able to make decisions on that had a whole lot to do with the performance of the airplane. I'm a 3-year pilot with maybe 300 hours in a 182, so this whole process of a tailwheel airplane was something that was a little new for me, and I've since got my tailwheel endorsement with the assistance of Darren and the folks here, and as a result we're about 2 weeks away from completion, and needless to say, I'm not getting a lot of sleep right now. So
that means you're excited, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
So some of the bits and pieces of information about the airplane. Again, it's the MOAC version, the IO 370. Went with the fuel injected version of it. Some of the options that really make the MOAC as unique as it is, of course, on this airplane. Kind of opted for about everything that I possibly could have. Hartzell Trailblazer constant speed prop, which is not an everyday occurrence on a backcountry airplane. So really do a lot for the performance of the airplane, and of course the Titan, the IO 370 fuel injected engine, light speed ignition. Suspension, or the main gear, is somewhat on the cutting edge. Shock Monster suspension, TK1. Really a lot of cushion in the landing or sometimes arrival of these airplanes. Behringer wheel and brakes. Elected to go with leading edge slats on the airplane to lower the stall speed of the airplane, enabling me to be able to land this airplane at speeds that incredibly slow, making it safer, making it a little less vulnerable to events, you might say, because you're landing at such a slow speed. But of course, the panel in this airplane is. It doesn't look like what I would have expected the panel in a backcountry airplane to look like. It's more similar to what's in my 182, although it's a G1000. There's a lot of glass in this airplane that gives you a lot of comfort. To know that you're covered in all kind of experiences and things that you might be doing from the standpoint of navigation and engine information, and so those were important factors. But I elected to go with the Garmin G3X touch screen, engine monitoring, of course navigation. Airplane also has autopilot. Also elected to go with autopilot in this airplane, just for the comforts and benefits that you might be able to derive from it on a long cruise. And of course, you're seeing mixture control, prop control, and but autopilot was something that I was definitely wanted to make sure I took advantage of. I also selected the option of going with toe brakes versus heel brakes. I did that just because of my familiarity with flying on 182 and being more familiar with the toe brakes. So been able to fly other airplanes that are backcountry airplanes with toe brakes, and it was much more comfortable for me. But bottom line, almost anything that you could have desired to change, the ability was there to be able to do that here at Legend. One other thing that's probably worth pointing out is the ability for a Legend Cub to be able to be flown with both windows and doors open. Unlike some other backcountry airplanes that you don't have that capability to be able to do, and obviously flying low in the middle of the summer, it's a lot of ventilation that can really obviously make things a whole lot more comfortable. Also, the rear windows on this airplane can be lowered to be able to gain access to the area back here behind the second seat. I didn't select the option to go with the third seat, so this airplane has a whole lot of area to be able to pack gear into. This is something that Darren incorporated into the design of this airplane that was really beneficial for someone that was going to use this airplane for backcountry camping, to be able to load just a ton of gear in the rear of this airplane. Obviously with CG being kept in mind in consideration, but this hatch opens up, allowing access to all of this area back here that is really beneficial. Obviously, this shot is showing you where a tail wheel will be, and it is not mounted yet because it has not arrived here yet. It is something that is unique and different to the backcountry airplane world that's being manufactured by Tony at TK1 Racing. It is, I guess, going to be one of the first of its type. Been really excited about the benefits that it's going to allow for landing this airplane in and out of environments that might be a little rougher. A whole lot's gone into the design of it, and we're really excited to see that once it gets on this airplane.